Hey y'all, Ramdino here. Well, today's episode is the third and last installment of Come Along and I's section hike from Pennsylvania down into Virginia. Met a lot of really neat people along the way. Some of those folks that are subscribers of mine, and I appreciate y'all coming up and saying howdy. And then we also picked up in this episode, we picked up a hiker down in Harper's Ferry that hiked with us our last couple days, and we also met a really neat person down at Blackburn Trail Center. So I'll let you go ahead and discover those folks for yourself in this video, so stick around. We're going through the Loudon Heights area, and I see this rock wall almost looks like some type of position. They're not kind of piled up here like they're a homestead, although I don't know how somebody would, the Civil War, would get them, but some of those rocks are pretty big. I guess you get enough manpower on them. But anyway, the history of the Loudon Heights area is that this is where the town of Harper's Ferry was bombarded. Harper's Ferry changed hands several times during the Great War between the states, and of course it's like we're walking down a logging road now. Could have just been they turned them over to CCC or something with heavy equipment to get in here and log. Obviously all this has been logged because the trees are so skinny, but we are walking through history on this hike from Pennsylvania. We started just about on the same latitude as Gettysburg, and we've walked through areas. We've come across quite a few Civil War signage that designated a particular area, and so you just can't help but feel a sense of history as you walk through here, thinking, you know, obviously this would have been Civil War, but the Revolutionary War was fought along the eastern seaboard mainly as well in the 13 colonies. So you don't know what you're walking through. Probably a little bit of both, but pretty neat to walk through this area. And if you remember that sense, it makes the hike a different type of hike. Certainly a different terrain than what we got down south, and just makes it a little more, I don't know, call it special for me. Well, John has just told me we have stumbled upon the West Virginia state line. I think we're gonna cross it more than once, but there's the first time. And the colors in here are just exploding. I'm telling you. The sun's hitting them just right. What a glorious day for hiking. Alright, so we hit a flat area. I think I'm gonna call John Come Along. He's a contractor, so he uses a concrete tool called a Come Along, and he uses a mechanical pulley device called a Come Along. And then anytime I want to go hiking, I say, "Won't you come along?" And he says, "All right," and he comes along. So he's cutting the path for us through this flat section. Somewhere past we're south of we're in Virginia, south of the West Virginia line, past that campsite that's about 4 miles outside of Harper's Ferry. And we picked up Camel back there. Say hey, Camel.
How we doing?
We're doing awesome. We passed Camel yesterday. He slowed down to hang out for a while. If he hadn't, he'd be eating our lunch right now. I think he hiked about 40 miles yesterday. 25, excuse me. He hiked 25. We hiked a little punk 18.1 like the killed us. Okay, fair warning. If you're heading Sobo, and it's probably the same way, Nobo, but if you're heading Sobo, come down from Wetherington Cliffs, which is a good place to go. Showed you that yesterday. Nice overlook. But you hit that treadway of the C&O Canal, that was the worst part of the whole day. My feet like to kill me. So I thought that would be easy because it's nice and level. No, sir. So just fair warning. It's like walking on a sidewalk. You can imagine walking on a sidewalk for a couple miles, carrying a pack if you walked all day. So, but we were fresh, got a good night's sleep, hot shower, some nasty town food in our belly, and we are continuing Sobo. Our ultimate destination is 11.8 out of town to Blackburn Trail Center. And when we left town, we had about 20 miles to go for the trip, and we want to stop by Blackburn Trail Center and camp or what have you there. That's kind of an iconic spot, and that's what this trip's been about. There's a lot of spots that are kind of, you see in a lot of people's stories. All right, we're gonna keep on this nice level walk. Here's some cars coming. I think we're coming up on this highway. I think there's a store down here a lot of people go to. We're not going to. We're good on resupply, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So this is the David Lesser Shelter campground area. There are tent pads around there. Privy. It's got a little reflector up there so you can see it at night. Directions to the campground, which is tent pads. Spring, quarter-mile away, it says. The fanciest shelter I've been to ever. It's got a covered eating picnic table area for cooking, meal prep area, and the fireplace is up here. It's got a porch swing. Who would have thought? And it's got of course, a really neat shelter. Hey there, how you doing? Good, how are you? I'm doing awesome, doing awesome. And it's got a deck. How many shelters have decks? So, pretty nice shelter. Just 100 yards, 70, 50 yards off the trail. Well worth it to come down here. Got tent pads. We can go down and look at the water source is a ways away, and it is a dipper.
That means I probably don't have a chance to get this because I'm not cutting my costs to do what it's ever for.
That's it.
So I give him an estimate, and yeah, to really work up the estimate, it takes a little bit of time.
All right, we are back on the trail again after the welcome lunch at David Lesser, heading toward Blackburn Trail Center. That is our destination. 3 and some change from us, so it's up and down. Some level spots between there. We're been riding kind of this ridge today for a lot of it. Just had I guess our biggest up getting into David Lesser. So ridges here I've noticed are a whole lot wider than back down south. In case, a few views between now and then, and we're going to David Lesser. I've read a lot of stuff about it. All kind of things like spaghetti being fed to people and dessert being fed to people. Be interesting to see what we come upon there. But where we're going, and that'll set us up for somewhere around 8-ish miles tomorrow to finish up this journey. So we'll show a little bit more of it before we get there, with the views, and then when we get there. Look, John is leading the way. I have decided, I think I made a comment before, that John, the only person I've hiked with that can keep up with me, and now that he's in the lead and has been most of the day, I've determined I'm the one that's the weak link, because I can't hardly keep up with his butt. So here you go. Truth on the trail. I'm assuming this is the, I don't know, 3rd or 4th time we've run into this. This area must be a marshy area. It's right before Blackburn Trail Center, trail north of there. Apparently, I get a lot of runoff coming down this hill sometime during the year. Whoops. And so I want to keep you up off out of the floodplain, I suppose. Anyway, there you go. All right, that we made it to our final destination for the night, 11.8. That is the Blackburn Trail Center, and they are closed. What did it say? The sign say?
Until further notice.
Closed until further notice. So we'd seen on gut hooks where they had been open in the 1st of October. But they are not open no more. I guess that's the solar shower there. So there's a lot of tent spots here. There's some decks. There's we're gonna camp up here in the front yard. There's flat ground back in through there. There's several spots up there on the hills, a bunkhouse, and then I don't know what they got inside there because it's closed until further notice. But anyhow, we're good to go. They got water, we got food. All's right with the world. This is Moxie, the caretaker up here, and she's been playing that thing for a week to 10 days. Okay, maybe a year and a half, but she is outstanding. And she just got her new bow that is shorter, and she is awesome. All right, we are back on the road after leaving Blackburn Trail Center, and Moxie showed up, and it was a joy to talk to her. Very astute, very intelligent young lady. She'll go far in life, whatever her choices are, and appreciate the chats and the stories. Moxie, if you ever see this, we just come up from there. It's about a 1/4 mile straight up. So, but it was worth it. It was closed, so closed for indefinitely, but there is water there. Plenty of tent sites, tent pads. We just stayed on the lawn, which we found out later was a no-no. Sorry, trail boss. Didn't know it till after we already got set up, and it's getting close to dark. So we are coming in a little more than 8 miles, about 8.2 to Bear's Den, and that is where we are coming out. So we did not know we're going to hit 5 miles of the roller coaster. So I don't know that I had been avoiding it, although mentally probably had been. I had thought that the roller coaster didn't start until Bear's Den, or didn't end Nobo till Bear's Den, or start Subo till Bear's Den. I thought, but apparently I got the wrong hostel, and it's Blackburn Trail Center. That's what it's close to. So we'll get to see what the roller coaster part of it's like, a third of it, anyhow. And I'm sure we'll be griping at you later. But right now, this is what the trail looks like now, and it's still walking on a wide ridge through the woods. Fairly, not too bad through here. This section from Harper's Ferry to here has been pretty rocky, but have been less rocks, so places you could plant without hitting a rock. Anyway, there's John and Camel and I, and we are going to bit Bear's Den, and Camel's debating whether to come out there or not, but we'll see. All right, what does this say? Bear's Den rocks. So that's 7.8. And there's the trail coming up from Blackburn Trail Center if you're Sobo, but me being the person that I am, I don't want to miss out on 1/10 of a mile of the trail, so I had to go back and pick that up. Look at it. Cruising right along.
250 spider webs.
Appreciate
Well, you know, we appreciate you clearing those spider webs out. That's the thing.
You guys get to do it for me for a little bit.
Never be the first hiker down the trail in the morning.
That's it.
All right, we're getting ready to hit the roller coaster, and we're in the middle of nowhere. It gives us a warning, so it's not like we can turn back and go to Harper's Ferry. So here we go. And we're all going to do it with our poles in the air, hands in the air, going down the roller coaster. Isn't that right, John?
Sure.
All right. Now, what was you just preaching to me about it pulling you over?
Oh, I know. You see them. But yeah, that's a drop.
All right, we're crossing the West Virginia, which is odd, but the other one we saw had Virginia on the left-hand side too. So does that mean Virginia's on that side and this side West Virginia's over there?
You would think.
You would think, but I thought this was it. Maybe not. We crossed the state line anyhow. All right, so this is the scariest thing we've done the whole time. Trying to cross this 4-lane road. They're not slowing down for hikers. That's for sure. But we're hitting this driveway up here. Just when you come down and cross over, you better get it, because they're coming down this hill over here. It's a kind of a blind hill and they can't see you where you cross. But we're getting ready to get back into the woods right here for just a few tenths of a mile to Bear's Den, which is our final destination for this trip. Well, we've almost come to the end of our trip. Bear's Den is just behind us up on the hill. Been a great trip. Enjoyed it immensely. We'll have one more say before we're all said and done. But this will be the last scene we get to see. And they say Virginia isn't flat. Alright, we're officially off trail back at the Bear's Den Hostel. And trucks just right down the parking lot. And this is the end of our journey. Hope you enjoyed that. And look forward to bringing some more of my journeys. Ramdino is out. OTR. Folks, that's it for this section. One of the things that I really enjoyed about this trip is, one, hiking through history. That's a really neat place, and I would highly recommend this section to anybody. You're walking through the Civil War, and I'm sure sections of the Revolutionary War as well. It's just really neat. And then also, you know, the hiker community in general. I just can't emphasize that. And I know I say that all the time, but hey, that's what I'm about, is the hiker community. And, you know, we met Camel on this trip, and it was really neat just to get to know him and spend a couple days with him. And of course met Moxie there, and she is just a class A great person. And so, you know, the thing about the hiker community is, it's like you never met a stranger in them. You hike along, and you meet people, and they kind of start hiking with you, and next thing you know, you're sharing things about your family, and frankly sharing stuff with them that you probably wouldn't share with your psychiatrist. So that was really neat, and just had a good time with camaraderie and just making new friends. So I'd highly recommend that you get to be a part of the hiker community. If you can't get out there physically and hike, then you can do that from home through my videos and other folks out there. There's just a ton of folks out there. And of course, this year and every year, I recommend that you get on the hiker support list that's that I do every year for the THru hikers, and just go and give them a howdy and cheer the THru hikers on all the way throughout their track throughout the year. So folks, that's all I got this week. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out here.